Hello everybody, my name is Brian G and this is Trifecta G Motoring. Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at a pretty unique car, a 2005 Chrysler Crossfire Limited with an automatic transmission. So about this car, it's purple, it's fun, it's rear-wheel drive, which means it's really fun. So let's go ahead and take a look at this thing. We'll go over the specs, we'll go over the driving characteristics, the interior, the styling, all that fun jazz. So stay tuned. Let's do this. Alright, so guys, you guys can see, this is the Crossfire. It's in this somewhat okay, good looking purple color. Not the best, but you can kind of see some styling cues here. I mean, we have the stripe that's going all the way back to the rear arch of the car. Kind of looks like a bird taking a dog taking a crap actually. But you got these nice 19-inch wheels in the rear, 18-inch wheels in the front. Got a little bit of fake side vent action just for styling here. On the back, you have a center exiting exhaust. Pretty cool. This one is missing the chrome tips, but what have you. It is a custom exhaust setup. All in all, a beautiful looking car, and it does get some looks on the road. It's pretty legit. And like I said, it's a Chrysler, so you got your Chrysler badge there, Chrysler badge in the front. You have dual projector headlights for high beams and low beams, so that's pretty cool, and then fog lights. And for the money, this car is actually pretty good. So let's go ahead and take a look at the interior. Now here's the interior of the Crossfire. Now this is an older one, it's kind of rough as an example, but nonetheless they're about the same. Steering wheel, it's pretty solid all the way around. You got trim on the inside that is not the best quality. I mean, even if that wasn't broken, I mean, it just sounds cheap. Center console, you do have enough room for things. It's not that deep in there, but you know, you do have a center console and a little pocket in the back, just to store what have you. The seats are power seats, but this one, the power seats don't move forward or back for right now. It is kind of busted, but moving on out here, you do have the name of the car, Crossfire. Kind of cool. Door panels, you do have side airbags coming through the door panels, which is pretty cool for the time. This one has a custom chain instead of a door pull like that one has, mainly because it broke. Yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the trunk. Not too much of a special thing going on there, but a little latch here and pull it up. Now there's a lot of room in this trunk. This one is taken apart for right now to get to electronics if we ever needed to. But I mean, there's a good size capacity in here, so not bad. Shut this guy. And this is going to be a little bit harder to show you because the car does not have an engine hood strut, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and pop the hood and take a look at what we got. Perfect. Just bear with me here, guys. There we go. All right. Right here we have a 3.2 liter V6 pushing out just over 200 horsepower. Now it's not a lot, but it's good enough for the style of car this is. The car doesn't weigh much either, so that's kind of a good thing about it. Another good thing is it is rear-wheel drive, so that means that power goes to the back of the car, which is always the most fun, in my opinion. That's about it for the outside of the vehicle. Yeah, let's go ahead and hop on inside and do a little bit of a road test. Now there is one thing I need to show you guys. Rear spoiler. Kind of cool. go the same route. Sounds pretty good. So, this is a 2005 Chrysler Crossfire Limited with an automatic transmission. Well, the cool thing about this car is it makes just over 200 horsepower, so it's not a lot. It's kind of like a BRZ, but it comes from a 3.2 liter V6. That 3.2 liter V6 is actually pretty potent. The engine itself and the transmission, they're bulletproof because they're from the first generation Mercedes SLK. Kind of a cool thing about that is, in addition to it being basically a Mercedes SLK underneath, all the powertrain components, even the chassis, the body is made by a company called Karmann, who made the Volkswagen Karmann Ghia. Now, that car, personally, I believe is one of the most beautiful cars ever created. I'll go ahead and throw a picture of that on the screen right here. But you can kind of see some other design elements that are going on here. So if you've seen the new Mercedes AMG GT, GTS, GTR, they have the same similar looking body style. Side strakes coming from the engine compartment, that body line that goes all the way down the back, even a deployable rear spoiler. So this car, it's got a lot of heritage from what I can see. And a lot of design keys have been carried over from it, even though Daimler Chrysler did cut all ties with Mercedes, and now it's FCA, Fiat Chrysler. But what are you gonna do? They have to make money somehow, and I guess it just wasn't making that much money, which brings me to this point. The car, they only made 70,000 of these over a 4-year term, 2004 to 2008. The Limited is actually one of the most popular ones. There was a base model as well. They had a manual transmission, and then the SRT6. And the thing about the SRT6, yeah, it had an AMG SLK motor under the hood, you know, with over 330 horsepower. But it couldn't get it. You couldn't get it in a manual, and the reason behind that is the manual couldn't take the power. They blew the transmission every single time they tried testing it. So it came with the 6-speed automatic that we're running here in this Limited model. Exact same. Things that I love about the car is the driving characteristics. You can just toss it around, and it feels like it's on rails when you have the proper tires on it. Because when we first got the car, it was missing the OEM wheels. It was running on 18x7-inch wheels all the way around, which is not good for it, because if you do run that, you have the risk, you start running the risk of destroying things. And in fact, that's what happened to this one. The carrier bearing went out on the drive shaft. So it's not like you can get one of those from Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Mercedes, anybody. So we had to get it customly made here in the Salt Lake City area. Honestly, I don't remember who exactly made it, but it works. The vibration and everything is now coming from the exhaust. There's a little bit coming from the rear drive line, but that's to be expected with a custom part like that. But the car is pretty much bulletproof now. I mean, I've driven it about 2 miles in the time that we've been talking. No sign of wanting to shut down. The air conditioning runs fairly well, actually. But yeah, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going to go ahead and end on, like, the driving characteristics. As far as the interior is concerned, it's all cheap plastic. Everywhere you touch, cheap plastic. The dashboard is that rubberized plastic, but it still feels kind of cheap. You have the center console area, all the silver trim is cheap plastic. In fact, this one is kind of coming up here, but it's all good. It does have one-touch roll-down windows, so that's pretty cool as well. And a shiftable automatic. It's kind of like a slap shift. Yeah, I think it's what's called. You just slap it left and right to make it go into different gears. That's kind of cool, but you don't have paddle shifters, so what are you gonna do? It does have heated seats. That's pretty legit. These ones, I'm not sure if they work or not. I can't tell. The leather on this car is just atrocious for how old this car is. It feels like sitting on vinyl, but I know it's leather. But you can always get it reupholstered. Who cares? Steering is actually nice, straight and true, very communicative. brake feel though, it's like a sponge, and that's how it has been from the factory. It's not like it's just because this one's old. It's just how this thing runs, how it drives. Right now it's roughly, let's say, it says 66 degrees outside, so the air conditioning test isn't really going to make much of a difference because it's still sucking out the cold air from outside. But I can tell you, it does work. When you crank it all the way up to 5, it's working, but it's kind of like an asthmatic mouse blowing through a straw. It's not very strong, and in fact, if you want to get stronger airflow, you have to shut some of the vents, like the side vents, things like that, and you just have the front. But that's not a problem because this car is tiny. I pulled up against a Mazda Miata, and I mean, we're like equal in size. It's just, this has more style. Totally, so much more style. This one though, this example, it is not perfect from any stretch of the means, but mechanically it is now 100% sound, and that's what I love about this car. When it comes to the engine, the transmission, things like that, you're not ever going to run into an issue with this car. You might have to replace a sensor here or there, serpentine belt, drive belt, what have you. I mean, that's just going to be normal wear and tear. I mean, this car has 122,000 miles, so that's to be expected. But nonetheless, I gotta say, I do love the car. It's a good little car, and if you can get one in good condition with a clean title, I'd say buy it. Buy it. Just don't even think about it. Just buy it. Just keep in mind of the things that can go wrong with it. Just factor that into the cost, and you'll be set. Like I said, make sure you get the correct tire setup, because this car, when it had those other wheels, it felt weird. It felt like it was on stilts. It didn't really feel all that great. But this thing, you move the steering wheel, it's like the car's on rails. It will go ahead and go whatever direction you want it to without any issues whatsoever. Now, it does have a lot of road noise, as you can hear, but that's to be expected. We're running 18s in the front, 19s in the back. I believe they're 255 with rear tires, or 275. I'll have to double check that, and I'll put that here. But yeah, it's a good little car. Good little car. Now we're gonna go ahead and try hopping onto the freeway, and I'll show you one of my favorite features about the car. Ooh, there goes a Kia Soul hauling butt. Race car. One thing you're also going to notice when you're driving this car, especially this model, as crappy as the paint job is, it's purple. The body style, really, whoa. Sorry, the guy behind me almost hit us out because we came to a stop. Anyway, what I was saying is this car does get a lot of attention. Like I said, it does look like a Mercedes AMG GT, GTS, GTR. There's a lot of styling cues from that. And generally, I believe it drives just as good as a Mercedes SLK, if not better, because it's rigid. The roof is all attached. There's nothing going on with a hardtop convertible or anything like that. So that's good stuff. The top speed of this car theoretically is about 155. Probably that's exactly what it's going to do because it is based off of Mercedes. Yeah, fuel economy, it's average. I wouldn't say that you're going to buy this car to be a gas sipper. It's going to be a car that you'll drive every single day and love it, but you'll be at the pump quite a bit. Not like my Charger, but you'll be at the pump quite a bit. Especially with this exhaust. I mean, dang, this thing sounds good. Other than that, that kind of wraps up the interior and the drivability of this car. We're gonna go ahead and hop on the freeway, like I said. Give it a little bit of a jaunt on there. Hopefully it doesn't break down as we go. But I mean, we replaced the ECM and we replaced the crank position sensor, so we should be fine. Ah, perfect. We got a green light. I'm gonna stop driving like a gangster. Good. 2 hands. This might get kind of droney, but I personally love it. it is noisy. So we're at 60 miles per hour. We're going to be stopping at this red light on Bangor Highway. Once we get down to 40, you can hear the spoiler going down. I believe it's a multi-stage. I've only seen it in one stage because I don't get this thing above 100 miles per hour ever. I don't see the need in doing that. But yeah, as far as the ergonomics are concerned, I'm pretty comfortable in this car. Even though we did mess up the seats, the driver's side seat's pretty far forward right now. I probably have about 1 inch of room before my knees or shins hit the bottom of the dashboard, but again, it's still drivable. It's fine. Yeah, all in all, I gotta say it's a good little car, and honestly, I would recommend it. It's gonna be kind of sad to see this thing go, but you know, there's always another project, there's always another vehicle down the road for us. It doesn't necessarily have to be this one. If you have the money to purchase parts, because they're going to be very expensive, because like I said earlier, they only made about 70,000 of these cars over a 4-year term. So when you are driving one of these, you are driving something a little special. Let's hear that exhaust again. Sounds good. And the new carrier bearing is holding in there very well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I hope you go ahead and smash that like button, and please consider subscribing. It really does help support the channel. I am a very small channel. I'm trying to grow. We're going to go ahead and continue to do automotive reviews and maybe not so much project car situations. But yeah, that being said, guys, appreciate you watching the video. Stay classy.